I want you to get to a place, start moving forward and becoming what I know you can do. I know some of you have been a part of our 60-day challenge. I do want to get some results and seeing how that's coming along, because many of you are moving forward, and then you moving forward, there's a lot of obstacles that are coming your way and getting you to where now you almost question, what am I doing? Sometimes it's just meaning that you need to stop, take a breath, realize that stuff happens. Okay. So tonight, that's kind of what I want to hit on is life happens. I think that life happens to all of us. The key being is how we allow it to affect us. And I kind of want to dive a little deep. Hopefully I won't offend anyone tonight, but as your coach, I mean, there are times when I have to kind of give you that punch. I probably won't be that guy that's going to be, oh, it's going to be okay. Not all the time, but I'm going to be that person that's going to say, okay, I get it. I get it. I've been there, done that. And many on this Zoom tonight, I'm sure going to be able to hopefully feel me on a few things that we're going to talk about, because as life happens to us, it not just happens to you, it happens to all of us. And the way we deal with things is important, because a lot of times I found out that really, in order to be a champion, there must be, hold on one second, let me mute Angie, there she is. Good. But
There he is.
Oh, let me do some stuff. In order to get where you're trying to get to, that means that now champions win battles. And most of us, we don't want to fight. We actually want to keep a good life. I heard somebody told me one time, he said, if you want to have this perfect, wonderful life, you want things to be cool, you don't want no problems, then you might as well go ahead and pick out your coffin, because that means you dead. If you don't got nothing going on, you don't got no struggles, no drama, no nothing, then you dead, okay? And that's a good thing, because when you're dead, that means you're at peace, you're at rest, and all that's great. But while you're living, there's always going to be something that's going to come up. So it's not that if it's going to happen, it's when, okay? So before I dive into that though, little housekeeping. I'm gonna make sure you guys, if you can take notes, I'm gonna drop some bombs on tonight. Some real good nuggets that can help you get to where you're going. Getting bypast this stuff. I want you to hurdle over some things, because once again, it happened, it's gonna happen, but now what do I do to shift myself, to get myself in a better mental state, headspace, to keep moving forward? If you can, definitely want you to put your cameras on. I think it's important, because if I can see you, I can see your expressions. I feed off that energy. If you can't understand, like Marquise, you got a bad Photoshop picture on there, man. I like that, man. You look cool, brother. But I appreciate you. If you have some questions, do me a favor, open up my chat. Matter of fact, you guys go ahead and open my chat up and let me know that you're there. Give me your name and your business, and give us a little contact information, be it phone number, whatever that would be, or just give us your name. Let us know who you are. We want to make sure the chat is working. Let me see. I'm gonna give you a few seconds. Make sure my chat is open. It's open. It's open. All right. Looks like the chat might be working. Good. Only unmute yourself when called upon. I'm going to give you a little monologue, and then I'm going to hit you with a lot of dialogue on tonight. I don't know if you noticed, but I've been shortening up the monologues because I really want to get into the dialogue so we can deal with some things and actually handle some of your individual issues. Because believe it or not, your individual issue is somebody else's issue too. It just be like, they might not want to say it, but you're bold enough to say it. And those are the way that we get help as a group to grow together and become what we need to become. All right. I do want to talk about this week's wins. I want you guys to tell me how things went this week. Give me a quick snapshot. I know something good happened. The reason we do this is because you always focus on your losses, but I need you for a moment just to look at your small wins. I don't care how small, how minute, how it might be like, oh, well, that really ain't nothing. It's something. Give yourself some doggone credit. Give yourself a pat on the back to say, hey, I did do that. Okay, real quick, I'm gonna open up the Zoom. Germanice, you're on off of mute, so that means you're ready already to tell us a win. What's that win? I don't care what it is.
For the week, as far as business or life?
Both, either or.
Okay, well, as far as business, my win for the week, I am proud of myself for acknowledging, recognizing, and admitting that I need help. That was big for me. Pride, I would say, ego. Maybe so that's a win for me in life. Communicating with my children. I am in a great space with all of my kids as far as communication where we're not fussing. So that's a win for me too.
Man, I like that. Both of those wins are amazing. And number one, kudos to you, because a lot of people don't, especially business people. It's almost like who helps the strong people, because we want to be strong, but there are moments, man, that we all have moments. And so being there for each other is so important. That's why this group, this network to me is so important. So important. All right, good. Thank you so much for sharing. Who else has a win? Who's got a good this week's win on this week? I see a red couch. Where's that red couch at, man? Looks pretty sporty. Angie must be out eating a sandwich. All right, who else got a win? One more quick one.
I got a win.
Oh, there you go. Marquise tapped in. You know what? Angie, go ahead, and Marquise come right behind her, right behind. Let's get that with those wins.
My win is first and foremost, thank you so much for the pop-up shop. I did make a couple of dollars with that, which enabled me to buy product for my event coming up in February when we leave out. So that was a huge win that I didn't have to come out of pocket. I made money to actually buy the product. So I was happy about that. And then also I got my surgery date. So that's my personal win, that I'm making plans and got paperwork and stuff generating so I can get ready to exit my job. Actually, the 16th of December is going to be my last day working there. So that's my win.
That's it. Well, I'm gonna believe with you, girl, that will be the last time you got them handcuffs on. You know what I'm saying? I'm believing with you that once you leave, you're gonna be free. You're gonna be walking around the house talking about I's free. And trust me when I tell you, freedom looks good on you. I believe that's a song. Good. Marquise, come on with that. Come on through, man. Thanks, AJ. I appreciate that share.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I would say the wins, again, like we had spoke about earlier when we first jumped on, this has been getting a chance to, get a lot of things done that I had on the to-do list to close out. So things has been really, going good, staying on track there. And just with the, on the personal side, just to, consistency, like I really enjoyed, being in the Life in the Word on Tuesday and just being able to kind of, put business to the side and just kind of, tune in, to others, to other things. And so, that was a win for me. Just the balance is real big is what I'm really working on.
Man, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. Man, in fact, that's Doc. I think that's one of the biggest things that we all struggle with, making sure that we take that time out and keeping the main thing. So, man, kudos to you. A lot of people, as we're going forth, realizing that, man, what we're doing is not just for us, but we're building some generational stuff. And even how we do it is going to be important because, I just talked to another young cat, man. He's got everything you think that somebody would have or want, but he doesn't have peace. He doesn't have what he needs in order to stay focused on. And it's sad when you got the stuff, but you can't even enjoy the stuff. So we want you to have the stuff and enjoy the stuff at the same time. Okay. All right, guys, we appreciate you. Those are some great wins. Those are great wins today. Great wins this week. Good job. Keep pushing and look for that momentum in those wins. All right. Those are huge. I'm telling you, those are huge. Event Spotlight. I want to say a big thank you to all of you guys that participated in the pop-up shop. It was amazing. I got great reviews. I believe everyone there, I went around and said, hey, did you make some money? And I believe we all worked together as a team. We had people come through. It was really, really awesome to see. And hopefully an example to you to where you think it, you put it on the calendar, and then you commit and start doing it. In other words, don't try to figure everything out all the time. Your best results sometimes just come from you just launching and doing something. Big kudos to Sharia and also to Angie, who actually set up the tables, my goodness, and the chairs. They knocked that thing out. Like by the time I got there, it was done. So thank you guys so much. Couldn't have done it without you. Just know that we're gonna do more and more stuff like this together as a group. The next step, I believe, is gonna be our fashion show, to where we're actually gonna put something on, because we got a lot of people that have product and services that can be used within that. And so we're gonna chop that up some more. I'm looking forward to making that become a real thing. Matter of fact, I'm setting up the calendar for 2023. And so that's definitely going to be on the calendar, and we'll chop it up and see what we can do to get going. So thank you for allowing us to allow this event, for you allowing this event to go forth. And I believe, like I said, for what and how we did it, I believe it was a huge success for the team to come together and support each other, and to actually know that, hey, you got people around you, you got people that can support you, not just talking, but actually doing something. So appreciate you guys. You guys are amazing. All right, let's jump into it. So life happens. How many know life happens? How many got some life stuff going on right now? All right. Just raise your hand, throw your hands in the air. I got some life stuff going on. I mean, it can be small, it can be minute, it can be big, but it's life stuff. And when you think about life events, or what that life happens, I think about just all kinds of stuff. Stuff like death. You know, to me, that's a life event. Sickness, divorce. I got folk getting fired from the job. These are just a list of people I'm actually working with in counseling that are all going through all these different issues. And as I was doing some coaching this week with some of my private clients, I'm finding out that a lot of this stuff are things that it happens. It's a part of what you do. It's a part of what you deal with. And not to be insensitive by no means, but to get to a place to where I need to let you know that because life happens, you have to know how not to let life just happen to you and throw you off course. The hardest thing is realizing that, yes, it's not always gonna be roses. The easy thing to recognize is remember what you're trying to accomplish. Remember what your goal is. Stay the path on the goal. Getting there is gonna be the challenge, but don't get caught up in a challenge. Because it's almost like mining for diamonds. You hear me say this all the time. Don't get mad at the cold. Don't get mad at the stuff you got to go through to get to the best things that you're trying to accomplish. Some of you, your greatest victory is on the other side of whatever is going on in your life. But if you stop short or fall short, you'll miss an important lesson or moment that you needed for that next side, okay? You guys that are dealing with me on tonight, or here on tonight, or those that are watching on other platforms, what are some of the things that you're dealing with that are life events? You know, I know for me, transportation the other day, it's crazy. Both cars. I'm like, both cars? Really? Had to go rent a car. I said, you know what? Funny thing is, my mind went to immediately like, you know what? I need a third car. Sometimes the way you fix a problem is create a solution to the problem, which is just another car. And so now it's focusing on what you are struggling with the vehicles. I'm focusing on, okay, which one am I gonna get? In other words, start moving your mind into that next solution base. Some of you, sickness, Marquise, great example. You know, I love it that you're on the Zoom tonight, but like you said, not feeling that great, but yet you're moving forward. There are many people that I'm dealing with that are dealing with all kinds of private illnesses that are striking their body, but they're still moving forward. They're moving forward. They're moving forward in their purpose in spite of the pain. And to me, that's admirable, because a lot of people give up in the pain. They quit, they give up, they stop, okay? I mean, for you guys, what are some things, some stuff that's going on right now? Just put it out there. And the reason I want you to kind of be free, because once you acknowledge that stuff is happening, it doesn't have as much of an effect as if you're trying to hide it. Nothing worse to me than keeping your stuff a secret, because then now you're all constantly covering up. And you don't want to keep covering up when there's something going on, especially when you're in a group like this. Because once again, we all going through something, we all coming into something, but in that, greatness takes a toll, to where now if you're not careful, it will beat you up, to where now you have to really find out how tough you are to handle the big stuff. Because there's I think I've heard somewhere before, this is, if the footmen wearied you, what will you do when the horses and chariots appear? In other words, what are you gonna do when the real stuff happens? It ain't even got real yet. It's just basically getting started. Some of you are still babies in your business. So a lot of stuff you're dealing with, I look at it and I chuckle just a little bit, Maybe not in your face, but I do chuckle behind your back because in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, ooh, I've been there, done that. And I see now that it was good for me to do that because now when I'm talking to you, I can talk to you from experience, realizing that it happens. Yesterday, case in point, life happens, life event. Yesterday was my dad's birthday. And, of course, my dad died 2 years ago in January. And so I could have had a moment that day that lasted all day, but I shifted it. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how do you shift those things that can seemingly wear you down, beat you up, and put you in some type of zone. Does anybody here know when you go into that zone? Come on. You know when you go into your zone, when you kind of get to that place in your life, okay? These are the things that we want to talk about, okay? Also, let's go a little further. How do you deal with it? In other words, how do you deal with certain life events or things that are ongoing in your life? Some of you like me have lost a parent. And so now that pops up every single year, probably twice a year, the day they die and on their birthday. Those are things that can be events that happen, that pop up, that make you reminisce maybe a little bit or get your mind there. Some of you, it can be divorce. It can be things that have happened that you lost. And before you know it, you find yourself moving and mentally unable to move forward from those things. So what are some ways that you can deal with life? Or better yet, learning how to make sure it doesn't just break you down to where you stop or do what some people do. Run, hide, or cover. Anybody on here is doing some running, some hiding, and some covering. And the sad thing is, we'll get to a place to where it becomes so comfortable that every time that thing happens, you do the same thing again. You do the same thing again. And in your mind, it's like, ain't nothing wrong with me. Yeah, there's something wrong. Because at some point, you have to learn that it's just life. It happens to us all. Either you can deal with it or you can run from it. So it's either fight or flight. Get to a place now to where either I'm going to run away from the trouble, but I'm finding out in business, you have to go through some stuff. Anybody on here that are salespeople like me, you have to go through phone calls. You have to go through now, you got to talk to 50 people to get 2 people to say yes. And a lot of times it's hard because some of you are door knockers. You got to go knock on doors. You got to go do things that you don't want to do, but have to be done because you have to get the people going and moving in your business. Some of you, when it comes to stuff, even online, you got to put your face out there more. I don't want to put my face out there more. You have to put your face out there more. So either you're going to run from it, or anybody besides me, you struggle with reels and videos. And if you're not careful, you'll run away from doing the reel or the video, even though you know it works. And you're sitting there like, look at that, I got 500 plays. And you'll sit there like, okay, I got to do one. Okay, no, not today. Okay, I got to do one. And then before you know it, you go back and forth with it to where you don't do what you said you would do. And you're not putting out enough content because really what's happened is life's happened. Maybe you put something out there and somebody gave you a frowny face. And now you're like, well, I don't want to put it out there because somebody didn't like it. One person out of 500 people didn't like your stuff. Get over it. Get to the place that you stop looking at what's going on around you. It's just life. I'm finding out that some stuff that people do to you ain't even about you. It's about them, but you just happen to be the person that's in the way. I got people, I think they call them trolls or whatever. I got people that troll. I'm like, how can you troll on a Bible study? I'm like, forget that. It's just all kind of stuff that be happening. But it's just life. And once you learn to deal with it and you know it's going to happen, you don't trip. And that makes a big difference too, especially when you're trying to get to the next level. All right. Now, with that being said, guys, who pays the price for your life event? In other words, there are people in your life that when you get stuck, and can I say stuck on stupid? When you get stuck in a place, the people around you generally can suffer. Because how many know when you're not at your best, anybody like me, I need some help on this one. When you get sick, you're not in the best mood. Anybody besides me, am I the only one? Or when you get in a certain place, and you know you're in a place, do you guys start to know yourself the way you know when you're in a good place? You're not in a bad place. You just don't need to be around people for a minute. Okay, maybe it's just me. But there's points in your life to where it's like, you know what? It's probably not good for me to be around people right now. And I gotta be honest, guys, I will tell myself, self, you need to take a break. You need to step back for a minute, take a walk around the building, do something real quick, regroup, regather, and let's get back at it again. But the key thing is not that you step away from it, but making sure that you don't make other people pay the price for whatever's going on in your life. You know, some people are beating up on people because there was a death in the family. You're feeling some kind of way about it. And you're just in that mode. Be careful as a business person, not to, because you'll attack your employees, you'll attack your business associates, you'll attack people around you that have nothing to do about your life event or the stuff that's happening with you. All right? I call it collateral damage. And all collateral damage is pretty much where people are being affected that had nothing to do with what you're dealing with. Be careful with that, especially in business, because you know you can blow a deal in business because you're dealing with something. I found out in my life, it's best to wherever you are, be there. Wherever you are, be there. If you're in a business meeting, be all in that meeting. If you're talking to one of your employees, be there with that employee. If you're talking to your spouse or your significant other, be there with them. In other words, get to the place that you stop going all over the place, because if not, other people, your kids especially, yeah, I said it, your kids, you can beat up your kids for your life. And you know why? Because you're looking at them, you're mad at yourself, and then because you get mad, anybody do that besides me? You get mad at you, and then you get mad at people around you that had nothing to do with why you mad in the first place. Okay, maybe it's just me. It's just me. It's just me. Woo! I feel a real strong lion spirit going on behind the screens. I want you to learn how to lean into the moment, okay? In other words, when you're not feeling good, lean into that moment. During COVID, I had COVID, okay? Instead of me fighting with COVID, being mad, once again, I'm the worst. I get sick, oh. But when I got COVID, I decided to lean into it. In other words, I decided to lean into the moment of I just wasn't feeling good. I leaned into the fatigue that I was feeling. In other words, I didn't fight trying to do stuff. I did it as I could do it. And I found out that worked a little bit better. And even now, when I get and feel some kind of way, I'd rather shut down a day, regroup, refocus, and then go back at it again. And that's what I call leaning into the moment. You know, my dad died. And I bring this up because to me, that was my biggest life event. What was your biggest life event? Type it in my chat. What was a life event to you that kind of changed some stuff for you? There was a moment that just like, wow, everything kind of like, man. So as you're typing that in, I know for me, it was my dad dying. And so what I did was I decided within myself that I was going to grieve in that moment. I wasn't going to grieve later. I wasn't going to wait till everybody left. I was going to be in that moment and feel the full effect of it. Matter of fact, I cried like a little baby with my kids, my wife. I mean, it was a scene. I called my best friend. I was blind in tears. I went through all of it. That now it doesn't take me off my game, because I leaned into that moment. Maybe the problem is you haven't learned how to lean into those moments and fully embrace them. Say you get mad at your kid. Get mad at them at that moment, but don't let it go over to another moment. Say you get mad at your spouse. Don't get mad at them forever, but get mad at them for that moment. And then now you can step away from it. Or say whatever would be going on with you, whatever life events happening, lean into that, embrace it, and then be done with it. And then move on from it. Not that it might not come up again, but at least you won't. I'd rather deal with something one time and maybe a couple extra times after that, but not go through something like this one event changed everything. Now I'm just, you don't want to do that. You want to make sure that you embrace these moments. So when they do happen, and it will, the question is not if, it's just when. And how you handle it from that moment. All right? Turning that moment or that life event from a negative to a positive. What are some things that you guys do? We're going to talk about that here in a moment. How can you shift that moment? I know for me, once again, going back to my little story, my worst moment, my dad died. I shifted it to where now I became his legacy. I became the guy that now picks up the baton and takes it forward. In my mind, it would be an embarrassment to shut down and not become so much more better than what he expected me to be, in my mind. And that changed it for me, because then now when I think about it, it pushes me, it fuels me, it makes me get even more on fire about what I'm trying to do. Now you gotta learn how to do that in every other situation that happens. Maybe you went through a divorce. Maybe the fuel to that fire is, no, I can make it. I can make this by myself. I can make this thing happen. Okay? Single parents out there. To me, the drive is, now I'm gonna show you how you can do it and not do it hurting. Do it the right way. Okay? There's so many positives that you can flip with that, but we'll talk about that. Matter of fact, let's talk about it now. So real quick, open up my chat, guys. I wanted to dive a little bit into this, but life moments, life events. What was the craziest thing to you? I'm gonna look at some of the comments. But when this life event happened, how did you recover from that event? Whatever that would be, that life thing that happened, or it's maybe happening now. But what is that thing? I know I see it here. Germany, that's tough right there. Your son's father being killed on a porch. How did you deal with that? Or how are you dealing with that?
I think in a way I'm still dealing with it, but how I dealt with it at the time, I just poured myself into work and school and church.
Okay. So you redirected your attention.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if I really leaned into dealing with it like you say now. I'm kind of leaning into it with dealing with it with my son when it comes to explaining and talking to him about it. I'm learning to lean into the moment of dealing with that.
Can you see the importance, though, of actually taking that time out to realize that this thing happened? I think what has happened, some of you guys, you deny it. It didn't happen. It happened. It was a part of your life, is a part of your life. But now, what did you learn from it to go into the next moment? Because if not, it can kill so many other times in your life, or it can fuel you to become even better. Like I said, I'm fueled because of my father's death. No regrets. I feel like because of that happening, it kicked me up a notch. It made me yeah, let's go get it. Because now my name means something to me because I'm a junior. And so I want to make my name great because I feel like I'm standing on the shoulders of greatness. And in my mind, you know what I'm saying? I got it from here, Pops. I'm going to take care of moms. I'm going to take care of my brother. I'm going to make sure everybody's straight. And I'm going to put all this on my back because now I become that next person that's going to be the next man up. Different concept, right? Different thought. All right, good stuff, good stuff. Marquise, what was that thing for you, man? Life event or life events that have happened that shook you, but you're getting through it?
It's just like, for me, past, I guess, years or whatever, it's just been all hell breaking loose. So, but just dealing with it and just, trying to work through it. And, to be honest, some days are better than others. But, it's just a matter of staying focused. And I would say I definitely kind of have to I have to replace, I can't just get stuck in it. I have to do something else or like you said, shift, the energy. I like the way that you put it, lean into it. I never looked at it, like that, but, just have to just shift it and kind of, not dwell there and try to, create a positive, moment out of the situation. But it was just tough because a lot of the the pillars, the people that I was in constant communication with, and that was always there in my corner and strengthen and engage me. So that was it was kind of a tough blow. I mean, we can go on and on and on, but it's is good, and I always look at it, hey, I'm still here, so God must still have more purpose, for me, in my life. So that's, that keeps me thriving forward.
That's beautiful, man, because I'm running into people that I've been coaching and I threw out this word, survivor's remorse. Almost to the point to where they feel bad because they're still here and the other people are gone. And it's like, well, why am I here? I'm not that great. I'm not that good. And before you know it, you start tripping, more so not on them being dead, but that you actually are still alive when really they might have been, in your mind, a much better person than you are. And so that's something we have to kind of deal with, but that's just a part of it. Death is just a part of it. What about the other stuff that happens? Life happens to all of us in different ways, different areas. I believe that, like I said, death is a part of it. My mother did teach me this growing up. Death is a part of life. Every moment you're dying. The key is not how you die, it's how you live, how you go forward, how you shift things. I don't know about you guys, but I want to leave a footprint. I don't want to just be here and that's it. I want to leave a footprint. I'm here to help millions. And I'm not afraid to say it because I realize my purpose and my mission. All right. Deshaun, I see you on, my man. What's going on? I know we had a little conversation, like you preempted me to this conversation tonight, but I'm sure you had other things too that are life events that have happened to you. Maybe not as big because, you kind of one of them cool dudes, but for what you see from even other people, life events that have happened, what kind of advice would you give to people that you maybe have seen going through something that you're like, man, if only they would have did this or did that or do this?
Man, so I know a lot of times when people go through, heavy things, they kind of stop, they stop, drop and roll, and I'm just playing. Nah, but they just pretty much stop moving forward. And they kind of, they sulk in it. They sit in it. And that's, that's okay. Everybody has their own grieving process or recovery process. But the fact of the matter is life goes on. You know what I'm saying? So even if you're still healing, that timeline is whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the judge of that, but there's still things to do. There's still things to be done. There's still progress to be made. So, I mean, say in the instance of a passing of a loved one, fortunately, I haven't had anyone very close to me pass away, but I do know whenever someone who was maybe a family member or whatever passes away, it definitely always reminds me of just, I guess, the fact that we have timelines on our life, that we're not here forever, and that we got to maximize the time that we are here, and even knowing that, for the instance of, say, like grandpa, it's like we are extensions of him. He's living on through us. So it's all the more reason for us to do bigger and better things, and like in my instance that I shared when we talked about was when I was in undergrad, I had a relationship that I had to end. And, it was something that was a bigger hit that I've experienced at that point in my life, and it was a time where I was feeling it, but I was still working on my master's program. I was still getting ready for a bodybuilding show. I was still working, like I was still doing things to move the needle forward to get me towards where I wanted to be in life, even though I felt that discomfort or that hurt. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't know if that was a proper answer.
No, I appreciate that because that input, once again, I'm sure someone else has maybe dealt with a relationship that just kind of, it threw them off a little bit. It rocked them to where now they had to really find their footing again. And the key being is, once again, instead of denying that it happened, embracing it happened, but like you did, keep going through it. And I think that's where a lot of people, how many guys that know people by just showing your hand that actually stopped when a life event happened? They just stopped. I mean, they just stopped. I mean, I've got some people, and once again, I don't want to offend anyone tonight. Please don't take this as an offense, but people have died and they're still grieving 10 years later, and I do understand that there's a grieving process. But once again, remember, as your coach, I love you enough to let you know that some things, man, you gotta pick up the pieces. You gotta get moving in that direction. And it's a hard statement. And of course, when it happens, you can't just tell somebody, get over it, suck it up. No, I'm not talking about that. But I'm talking about people that you know that have been I mean, some people have been broke a long time. And their brokenness comes from how things work. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden they really broke because they stopped moving forward. And some of them, it wasn't even that they completely stopped, shut down, open themselves properly. And that's something you have to ask yourself. You know, even me, you know, I like that you said that, Deshaun, because a lot of relationships, I remember, that's the one thing I can say, if I could pull out this personal note, is when I was out there in them there streets, I let the streets control me. I was always still in full-blown forward momentum, which I never understood with my homies, caught up in something and be off left. And I'd be like, man, forget that. Ain't nothing that good that's gonna stop me from going in the direction I was going in. And so it's kind of interesting how some people I do see that do that.
You dropped out? Okay.
Ooh, I'm back. I'm sorry. You were saying, Terrence?
Oh no, I said yeah, dropped out. You was calling me?
Yes, I did. I apologize. I dropped out. Yeah, my internet must have dropped out.
Oh no, that's all right. Well, the topic you saying about situations that made you go harder, like negative or big blows that happen in your life, right? It's
Yeah, life events, life happens.
events. Yeah, it's I can't like pinpoint one, but it's like I look at them all as a cluster. So you have your father, my grandfather passing away. You have I had a cousin that he was murdered 2 months ago, Ty Mel, and another cousin last year, he was murdered. And I think close calls while I was deployed, but like instead of like the grieving process, it's like I think my grieving process is like me keep on striving forward because I believe I'm on borrowed time. And this is a blessing to be here because it's like, you know, before the military, it was other stuff. But other than that, is like I said, it's a blessing that I'm capable and, you know, here and have the opportunity. So I think, I hope that answers your question because that's like the way like I had kept on going. I know other people have different ways of, you know, dealing with complicated situations in life, but as for now, that's how I'm doing it.
I'm feeling you on that only because I understand where you're coming from because, like you said, it's like stuff has happened so to the point to where really I'm just happy to be alive. You know, I said that just a couple of weeks ago. I'm 51 years old, and I'm so glad to be 51 because I was living that I didn't think I'd never live past 25. And so it's amazing, and I'm very grateful and thankful because life happened. But now that I look back at it, it's like, man, I'm grateful. I'm honored, but like you said, it becomes a fuel.
Yes, sir.
I'm living my life with a sense of urgency right now to where I believe that you got to get and do all you can while you can. There's no way to sit back and wait on life because, I mean, I just had a guy, matter of fact, I got 3 people this week. One young lady, she's young 50s, had an aneurysm. Now she's had a stroke and she's brain dead. And her family right now, as this moment, are deciding whether to take her off the plug. Another young man, early 50s, he actually ended up having a stroke. Limited voice, can't speak much, can't work much. And another guy, 38 years old, just found out he's got aggressive cancer. So not to throw those things and make you feel some kind of way about it, but I really want you to understand that when we look at what's going on and life events are happening, I mean, these people are in some serious stuff. And here we are with the stuff that we're dealing with. I just had a lady who her son was killed tragically. Her daughter died of COVID and her husband just passed.
It's tough.
She's got less of her grandkids. So when you start looking at those life events like that, then you start really looking at your life like, wait a minute, man, I got to pick it up a notch. I got to step my game up because tomorrow's not promised. And so now as a business person, who's affected if you don't stay focused long enough to get to where you're trying to get to? So no, Terrence, I love that. That was great. That's awesome, man. I think that was a great perspective, and I see that. All right.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate that. Angie, what you got, Angie? I know you put some stuff on that's pretty heavy.
Yeah, mine is, I don't want to be long-winded, but my mom, I was raised by my dad because my mom took sick when I was real young. And I wasn't able to go back and live with her until I was like 16. And then shortly after that, she got placed in a home. So in 2007, she died. And it was really devastating to me because I had just missed her birthday. Ooh, I don't like talking about it. But anyway, I deal with stuff in stages. So I go through sadness, anger, the emotions just roll through. And for a long time, I hated Mother's Day. And I would always find myself chastising my friends when I would see them mistreating their mother, in my opinion. So how I deal with it now is that I try to hold events on Mother's Day now. I've done a Mother's Day brunch where I've invited ladies that I know, and have them bring their mom to try to make me embrace it and embrace the missing of my mom to do things. And then I did a picnic at a park and bought all kind of gifts for ladies and had them bring their moms again, and we played games. So I tried to, aside from going through stages with whatever difficulty it is in life, a life difficulty, then I try to figure out a way to how to embrace it to make myself get over it and move on.
Man, that to me, you turned it around. It goes back to what I said earlier. You took that negative and made it to be a positive. That's powerful. That is amazing right there. I believe if you think about it, the guy that did that show, Adam, who had this kid was missing, you guys know what I'm talking about. And he came up with this big old show to go find kids and all kind of stuff, but it was based upon pretty much his tragedy ended up turning into something that was huge. And same thing with Mothers Against Drunk Driving. The lady that heads it up, I think one of her kids got killed doing in a drunk driver accident. So it's almost like sometimes these things can fuel you to become even better because life happens to us all. And that's really tonight, guys. I want you to realize that life is happening all around you. Be careful not to get caught up to think that, number one, you're alone. That's one thing I found out with a lot of people. They think that they're the only ones dealing with it. You're not the only one on this Zoom dealing with life happens events. We all got something that's turning around our brain. But the key being is if you take it and do it to where it becomes fuel, it changes everything. To where now that thing that maybe would have not had you going forward now becomes fuel to start even moving a little further, a little faster, to realize that I don't got time to waste. I don't got time to be sitting here on this, dealing with this stuff. I need to be moving the needle forward, but easier said than done, right? How many know it's easier said than done, right? It's easier said than done to actually get it done. I got a few people. Robbie, I know you've been dropping in and out. I know you're rolling. Hope you ain't riding dirty.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was in a bad area. So tell me what the question is. I apologize.
No. Now I'm glad you're on. The question really was I'm dealing with is what life event threw you for a loop to the place to where you had to refocus, regroup, and go forward. Or maybe you know someone else that has a life event that got stuck and you saw a way for them to go forward, but just haven't maybe had the strength to tell them yet.
Well, I guess the most recent life event was probably when my daughter went to Cancun and she broke her ankle.
Oh.
And
wow.
Normally I get very involved, hands-on. I take on all the whole problem and I make her problem my problem, and she's stressing, so I'm stressing, you know what I mean? But So just trying to make sure that I see the positive in it, she's seen the positive in it, and just not taking it on to the point where it made me lose focus and lose what I was trying to do.
Mm.
That would be the most recent one.
Wow. Now, where did you find that strength from? Where did that shift for you somewhere that you knew that you couldn't go that route of?
I think because you know how sometimes you have a repetitive cycle of things. Like this time it was break her ankle, but you know, different things have occurred and I've got involved over, you know, over my head. So that my mindset was different, handled it different because I didn't want the same result, which was going to be me backing up or cutting off everything that I was doing to do everything that she needed to be done. So I guess in a way was putting myself first without being insensitive to my kid. You know what I mean? Letting her know that I am here and, you know, helping her as I could, but just knowing what I wanted and not getting deterred from what I wanted this time around.
Wow. Now that brings up an interesting point, because how many on this Zoom have had other people's life events affect your life? So before you knew it, you got heavily involved in what they was dealing with, and you were being a good friend, but it threw you off focus. It threw you off. And only bad thing about that is that means that now you find yourself out of sorts, out of commission. I gotta tell you, Robbie, that's great maturity on your part. And sounds like it was something you saw as a pattern and you corrected the pattern to where now you knew that the last way you handled it didn't work. So now I had to change the game on it and make it work for my benefit instead of against me, without being or seeming insensitive. I'm sure it was. I just had someone a couple of weeks ago, something that happened, and me being in the position I'm in, a lot happens. I get a lot of calls, a lot of things happening. And so when it happens, it's not that I'm insensitive to anything happening. I have to compartmentalize it into where it fits. Can I do anything about it? And for me, if the answer is no, then I don't allow it to overtake my thought patterns. And those that know me, I pray. And then once I do that, I move forward. I can't do anything about what might be happening. Like right now, her name is Gayleen. Please keep her family in prayer. But she's on life support, good friend. But in essence, I can't do anything. So I can, I've heard people tell me, I've been praying all night and I've been, I ain't had nothing to eat all day. And it's because of other things that have happened to other people. And I get it, I feel you, but I'm at that point in my life now that, to be completely honest, I'm unstoppable. I can't stop. I can't. I mean, is anybody besides me, are you feeling me on that? It's like, I can't stop right now. I cannot stop. I can't. I want to help you. I want to stop what I'm doing. I want to be sensitive. I want to be what you want me to be. But I got so much that I'm trying to accomplish in this next season. I can't sit here with you for too long. Okay? Okay, if it's insensitive, just type in there, Coach, you're being insensitive tonight. You're being insensitive. I'm sorry. Sade, are you with us? I know you, Mom, you might be working. Might be just listening in.
I'm here. I'm just driving.
Okay. I know the topic's been a little crazy tonight, but it's just life happens. And I'm trying to get to where we're finding out as a group, how are people dealing with life events? How do you take that life event that might have shook you, but now you're able to keep pressing forward, or turn that bad thing into something that fuels you to go further faster?
That's actually a difficult question, but for me, I would have to say, I think goals and my ambition and like my drive to get where I'm going is what actually will keep me from actually staying in the moment. Because I know you have talked about that before, about how like things happen and it's okay to have a moment, but not to stay in the moment, where it gets you to the point where you completely not do anything that you're supposed to be doing. And like you said, you can't change anything. You can't change it. We don't have the power to do that. So once you accept it and you understand that you won't be able to change it, then I feel like that just takes the shackles off of wanting to stay in the moment and move past that, so that way that, you know, you can go ahead and do what it is that you know that you're supposed to do.
Wow, that's powerful. And here's where, guys, I guess I'm pushing you, is making your future and what you're trying to accomplish so important that life happens around you, but it's almost like you're in the eye of the storm, but the storm's all around you, and you're able now to walk through it and keep going while everything around you. And I don't know if you guys have been in this position, but in my life, I have a lot of things going on around me, but it doesn't attach to where I carry it. And so now I'm not the burden carrier. I'm not the one that you can call, lay stuff on, and I'm going to have a sleepless night over. Man, that sounds so insensitive. Guys, I'm telling you, when you're so in your purpose, it changes you. Not to be selfish in the aspect that you just care about you, but you're so focused on your purpose that now nothing can shake you from that. And that's really where I want to get you to tonight, to where you realize that life will happen, but I can't keep stopping to pick people up, because how many are dealing with people that are in the same situation over and over again? Come on, be honest. I don't care who it is. Don't say no names out there, because they might watch the Zoom later. But you know people that they constantly, it's like you've been broke last week, you was broke last year, you're broke today. Hey, obviously you like being broke, so I'm gonna leave you where you at. Drama. Every time you look up, there's drama. There's drama. Last year there was drama in December. Now we in December, at the end of the year, you got more drama. It's drama. So at what point will you step back and say, if this person is in this zone and this is where they're at, I need to let them be there. I've learned, I'm being insensitive again as your coach, I've learned that if people like to be broke, busted, disgusted, and they're constantly in that place, I let them be what they like to be until they're ready to change. And take my mantra. Matter of fact, do me a favor, write it down somewhere. When helping you hurts me, I can't help you. In other words, if what you're dealing with is affecting me to the point to where I'm off focus of what I should be doing. You know, I told my boys this, and they can attest to this, that no relationship should take you off course. When a relationship takes you off course, it's the wrong relationship. Relationships should propel you forward. And when that propels you forward, it makes you go now to that next level. But you got to keep, guys, this is what I want you to think about before we enter into 2023. Don't allow anybody or anything to keep dragging you back every time you try to go forward. Some of this stuff is not the people. That's not their fault. That's who they are. The people are who they are. Let them be that and be okay with that. To me, when you start tripping off how people in life, how they deal with their life and their issues, you know, I got people, unfortunately, that I know they're dealing with drug abuse, dealing with homelessness, dealing with all these different issues that are life. You know, I have a thing now to where it's hard for me to live in Summerlin. It's hard out here in these streets. I got 2 HOAs, you know, everything up here is higher, blah, blah, blah. The gas is higher. You know, how gas is higher in Summerlin and cheaper in the ghetto? Anyway, I got a lot of issues going on. It's hard here in these streets. But it's also hard living on a park bench. Either way you go, it's going to be hard. The question is, which hard you're going to choose? Now, don't get mad at me because I chose this hard. And I won't be mad at you because you chose that hard. And that way now we can keep moving forward. All right? Delshana, Pastor, help me out, Delshana. I'm out here on a limb. I'm out here, man. They looking at me funny.
Absolutely. I have spent time in my life picking up burdens and being the burden carrier. And so I'm grateful that I'm over that. I'm grateful that I am over that, where I can actually step into the space, stay in the space comfortably. And when I say comfortably, I mean my heart don't hurt. I don't cry about it at night. I don't wish I could have. but I can step into the space comfortably and recognize that their issue is their issue. If I can offer something, I'll offer it, but they have to make the decisions. And it just kind of falls into that space where at the end of the day, we're all grown. What you doing? You know? And so I just thank God for making the shifts in my life so that I can rest in that space. But as you all were talking about, life happens. Do you stop or do you keep going? Like I just experienced a life happen. I've spent the past 6 months recovering, going through, hitting rock bottom, and recovering from a life happens. And it was an attack on my life. Like I could have died. It could have been really, really bad for me. But I continued as much as I could. So did I go to 5 more states? No, I went to 2. Did I do 17 more projects? No, I did 3. Did I finish everything on my goals list? No, but I did move things forward and I did accomplish something. And so for me, when life happens, it doesn't mean stop. It might mean slow down. It might mean adjust. It might mean reevaluate. It might mean shift your priorities. It might mean, in my case, put me on the agenda. Okay. Like put me up, higher up on the priority list. But I never stopped. And most people have no idea what I went through because I never stopped. I kept smiling, I kept posting, and I kept showing up when and where I could to do something, to move the progress forward, to consistently propel, even if propelling meant 2 centimeters instead of 2 feet. So I think what allowed me to do that though, and what helps me to do that, of course, is the power of God that works in my life and me recognizing who he is in me and who I am in him. But also that I don't get emotional about that kind of stuff. I don't let my emotions run the decisions when I get in trouble, when my body's not working like it should, when I'm experiencing those life experiences. I just don't. I just don't. And that's a sign of maturity, of course, but it's also just the process. There was a time when I did. Now I don't. See? And so if any of you all are there where your emotions overtake you and that then it causes you to stop for you to pick up somebody else's stuff, it's just the process. And it's that one day you look in the mirror, and this is what God showed me, that I would come down the ladder to go help other people and ask them to help me how to get up the ladder. They didn't even have a ladder. They didn't have a ladder. So what exactly could they do for me? How could they really help me? Why was I leaning back into people and places and spaces that could not propel, help, advance, push, suggest, advise, nothing? So I had to make a decision. I had to push forward. And that's what I do.
Wow. And Delshana, I know I've seen you. Matter of fact, I probably clowned you a little bit during it. But anyway, I saw you, and trust me, so proud of you because I know you went through some things. Folk don't know. I'll let you tell it another time. But absolutely. And to me, that shows the heart of a champion. And that's where I believe business people such as us, that makes us that notch above, where everybody else is falling apart and chasing people and getting caught up in other people's drama. It's like, I don't have time. I just found out today about some stuff going on in the news. I don't watch the news, and because life happens. I've never watched the news and finished watching it going, yeah, let's go get it. No, I've never had that experience. And so some things, unfortunately, I can do nothing about. So I just don't let that enter into my spirit. Troy, where you at, man? I know you out and about. Thanks, Delshana, for showing. That was powerful, man. You guys are amazing. Thank you for being a part of this network. You helped me, and I hope that this is helping you too. Troy, what's going on, my man? I know you, Coach Troy, championship man. What's going on, sir? You out there?
Good evening. I got the babies.
Oh,
I got a moment of quiet, but I think that out of respect, I have some things to share, but I've been multitasking and not really giving enough attention, right, to give a coherent thought on this without being, you know, inappropriate. But I don't even think it's inappropriate. It's just about being respectful because this is a touching subject.
Absolutely. Well, the biggest thing for me, and maybe you could just chime in here, is I'm sure there's some things that have happened in your life that have had the potential to shift you. But I know you a little bit. You didn't let it shift you. How did that happen to you?
You said, how did it happen to me?
Yeah. In other words, how did you not allow that thing to just make you just go another way? You didn't stop being you is what I want to say. I saw you go through it and you didn't stop being you, which I thought was admirable.
Just had to continue being true, continue being the person, you know, I was raised to be. And, you know, just to, at the same time, take myself out of it, to see that this is an experience, a lesson to be learned so that, you know, it's not repeated. And, you know, it's about the longevity in the future as well. So I couldn't make it about me. I had to take myself out to look at the whole picture, right? And know that who I am and what I'm supposed to be doing has been hindered, but even at this moment, it's necessary, it's needed. That person is needed. So I couldn't just stop what I was doing, if that makes sense.
That absolutely makes sense, man. And so it's just a lot going that now once again, this is something in this group. And I know some of the things I mentioned tonight are touchy. And that's why I wanted to make it clear that didn't want to be offensive. But like you said, Troy, this is a touchy subject when it comes to this. And we don't want to ever be insensitive or seem to be. But I do know that there are times and points that people have seen me and they'd be like, man, that cat don't seem like he lets nothing bother him. And I don't believe it's that it doesn't bother me. It's just I evaluate it for what and where it is. And my first question is, what can I do about it? How can I be of support? And then after that, okay, it happened. It is what it is. Let's deal with what's next. And even for you being a coach, Troy, I saw how that team, I'm telling you, you gave those boys the experience that I don't know if any of them or many of them have ever had of being on that type of platform. So kudos to you and going through what you went through throughout this season to get those guys there. I thought that was extremely powerful. And so once again, man, thanks for taking those young men under your wing and really doing some things with them. Great job. Great job.
Thanks.
Cool. Thanks for chiming in. Appreciate that. Hey, Ms. Gloria, what's going on? You got a quick second? I know you're down there doing what you do, but life events, my wife is cool, calm, and under control just about all the time. I don't even know how she do it.
Hey there. I'm sorry, I'm in the middle of working on some stuff, but I guess going through a situation with just someone who wants to bring legal action against you, and knowing that you really in the midst of it, feeling as if you're under attack, but still having to move forward and do what you need to do to get your job done, to make sure that the rest of your clients are taken care of and things are happening the way they should, and being able to still rest in that and not stressing, knowing that God's got it in his hands, whatever it's going to be, but still being able to just move forward with life and not let that stop you, stagnate you, feel panicked, feel the anxiety from it, but just keep moving forward. And that's real, because everybody don't like what you do, but hey.
I think that's powerful. That's something that really makes a big difference, guys, because I know we all, and we'll wrap it here, is I want you all to realize that life is going to happen. Get ready for it. But when it does happen, whatever you're looking to accomplish, make that thing so big that the stuff that's happening to you is only going to help propel you forward even more and at a faster pace. All right. Other than that, guys, I know heavy conversation tonight. I wanted to have it because, like I said, I know some of you are dealing with some stuff but I need you to become unstoppable in this season. Get to the point to where next year, I'm putting this out there, I want to make and have $1 million in my account. I'm not talking about assets, done that. I want to get $1 million in my account. And I'm not talking about savings account. I'm talking throughout my investment accounts. I'm working to where, because the one thing to have $1 million in assets, cool, that sounds good. That excellent. I'm talking about in the actual areas that I can see it and see it working for me. And so I'm going to be on a mission in 2023. I'm going to invite some of you guys on that mission. I'm actually be doing a series on how to make next year your best year ever. I believe this year was a great year for many of you, but I'm going to challenge you to kick it up a notch, kick it up a notch. And Terrence, I didn't forget about you. Did we get those videos done?
Yes, sir. I had got 3 of them already done, and I got the 4th one after I get off this event to upload. So success. Yes, sir.
Beautiful. I love to hear it, man. Keep that momentum. Let's keep it going and see how that works out throughout the end of the month. Also, our contest, I didn't forget about you guys. December, I need to know for November your final numbers. So do me a favor. Before we meet next week, I want you to text me your numbers for the month, and let's see who's going to win some cash, because they actually started moving the needle forward for last month. So send me your numbers, email them to me, and let me know what you did. Product sold, your gross sales is what I'm after. Of course, if you want to throw in your profit, I want to see those numbers too. But let's start moving the needle, because some of you have been doing amazing, and I'm excited to hear about how it's all going to turn out. All right, any other comments? Last comments? You guys all good? Anything for me? We good? All right, man, you guys are amazing. Real quick, let me throw this out there, because I got to. Don't go alone. Guys, this group is so important to me, and hopefully it's important to you too, because these topics, you might not be able to talk to about folk, because they'll be like, well, man, that sounds insensitive. It's a different mindset. It's a driven mindset. It's a mindset that we want to have as business people, that come what may, we keep pressing forward. The bigger picture, the bigger purpose. You guys know I can help you in all these areas. Whatever you need, I got you. Of course, the session that you're in, I believe that we give value, so you want to receive value in return. I know that you value me, I value you, and to me that makes a big difference in how we go forward. Many of you, one-on-one coaching, I gotta push you this direction. I gotta get you to where we're doing some one-on-one personalized stuff to push you to where you want to be as we launch into 2023. I'm gonna challenge you not to say I can't afford it, but to tell yourself why you can. Anissa, I keep bringing her up. She done hit another contract. Girlfriend's almost up to $3,000 a month. And that was just from us hanging out. And she just actually re-signed. So she's doing some more stuff. Because she's like, if I can do that with 1, I can do it with 2. And now let's do about 3. And so it makes a big difference when you commit and realize that it's okay to need help. It's okay. All right. And I got you. 0 to 30 days new business. You guys that are out there, you haven't really got your business off the ground. Maybe it's time to sit down and chat, see what we can do to lock you in and get you where you want to be. All right, guys, you have a great night. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for listening in. A little tight, but I believe it was right. You guys do me a favor. The rest of this week, make it the best. I want to see your results. I want to see what you're doing. Appreciate you all. You guys have a great evening. Talk to you soon.
Appreciate it, brother.
For sure, man. Whatever I can do, let me know. Got you.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for listening in, guys. Appreciate you guys.